Something huge could be happening behind closed doors, and it might completely change the future of the Seattle Seahawks. The craziest part? Some of the biggest conversations may not even be happening in a boardroom. Instead, they could be taking place at one of the most secretive gatherings in the business world, where billionaires, powerful executives, and major sports figures meet every year. New details have just surfaced about the Seahawks ownership process, and when you connect all the pieces together, the timing becomes impossible to ignore. There are already two groups starting to separate themselves from the rest, some fascinating developments involving the people running the sale, and a few details that could explain why the next big update may arrive sooner than many expected. Before we break it all down, I want to hear from you. If you could choose the next owner of the Seattle Seahawks right now, who would it be, and why? Let me know down in the comments because I'm really curious to see what Seahawks fans think. The latest developments surrounding the future ownership of the Seattle Seahawks have suddenly become far more interesting, and what makes this situation so fascinating is that some of the biggest conversations about the franchise may not be taking place inside a formal boardroom at all. Instead, attention has shifted toward an exclusive gathering in Sun Valley, Idaho, an event that has earned the nickname Summer Camp for Billionaires. While that description may sound exaggerated at first, the event has reportedly been bringing together some of the world's most influential business leaders for more than 4 decades, creating an environment where major relationships are built, networking takes place, and significant business deals can quietly move forward away from the public spotlight. This timing immediately catches attention because the initial ownership bids for the Seattle Seahawks were due last week. At first glance, that deadline appeared to be a major milestone in the sale process. However, another important detail has emerged. The existence of that deadline does not necessarily mean that anyone who failed to submit an initial bid has been eliminated from consideration. That creates an unusual situation where the process remains more flexible than many people originally expected, leaving the door open for additional developments even after the first round of bids. What makes the Sun Valley gathering especially relevant is the company behind both the event and the Seahawks sale. Allen & Company, the investment bank managing the sale of the franchise, is also responsible for organizing this private conference. That connection alone naturally raises speculation, because the people overseeing the ownership process are gathering in an environment specifically known for bringing together influential decision-makers from multiple industries. Unlike traditional business meetings, this retreat operates with remarkable privacy. There is no public agenda released in advance, no official guest list made available for everyone to examine, and media access is extremely limited. That level of secrecy is intentional, allowing conversations to happen without constant public attention. Rather than sitting across conference tables wearing suits inside corporate offices, participants interact in a much more relaxed atmosphere, something that has reportedly encouraged meaningful business discussions for decades. The conference itself has become famous for exactly that reason. Instead of focusing on formal presentations, it creates opportunities for executives, investors, technology leaders, media figures, and sports executives to develop relationships in an environment where pressure is reduced. According to the information discussed in the transcript, this setting has repeatedly become the place where important ideas begin to take shape before eventually turning into significant business transactions. That naturally raises an important question for Seahawks fans. If Allen & Company is both overseeing the sale of the franchise and hosting one of the most exclusive networking events in the business world, could conversations about Seattle's future ownership already be taking place behind closed doors? There may not be confirmation that a deal is being finalized during the retreat, but the circumstances certainly make the timing impossible to ignore. Another notable aspect involves the expected attendance of major NFL figures. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell is expected to be present. along with New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft. Their presence becomes significant because both individuals play important roles during the ownership transition process from the league's perspective. If discussions surrounding the Seahawks continue to progress, having key league figures gathered in the same location naturally becomes another detail worth monitoring. As attention shifts toward the possible buyers, another report has identified two groups that have reportedly emerged as the leading contenders in the race to purchase the franchise. Those two groups are now being viewed as the clear frontrunners at this stage of the process, giving Seahawks fans a more focused picture of where the ownership conversation currently stands. The first is the Grousbeck Group. The second is the Coastal Group. While there has been no confirmation that representatives from either organization are attending the Sun Valley Conference, there is also nothing suggesting that such participation would be surprising. Given the prominence of the people typically invited to this gathering, it would not be difficult to imagine successful investors connected to either group receiving invitations as well. Looking more closely at the Grousbeck Group, one detail immediately stands out. Wyke Grousbeck has established a reputation through his ownership experience with the Boston Celtics, a franchise that achieved multiple championships during his tenure. While basketball and football are obviously different sports, supporters naturally evaluate potential owners based on their ability to oversee organizations that consistently compete at a high level. Success in one professional sports league does not automatically guarantee success in another, but experience managing a championship-caliber organization inevitably becomes part of the discussion. The transcript emphasizes that perspective by pointing toward an ownership philosophy centered on creating an environment where football operations can succeed. Rather than focusing exclusively on making headlines, the discussion highlights the importance of giving the people responsible for building the roster and running the organization every opportunity to perform at their highest level. That type of leadership is often viewed as one of the most valuable qualities an ownership group can possess. The conversation also touches on another potential ownership candidate connected to the reported frontrunners. Vinod Khosla has long been recognized for his involvement in the technology industry, placing him among many influential figures connected to that world. The technology community has traditionally maintained a strong presence at the Sun Valley Conference, making that connection another reason why observers continue paying close attention to developments surrounding this event. One additional detail surrounding Khosla creates an interesting layer to the discussion. The transcript notes that he currently holds a minority ownership stake in the San Francisco 49ers. Under NFL ownership rules, someone cannot own two franchises simultaneously. Therefore, if Khosla ever became the majority owner of the Seahawks, selling that existing stake would become necessary before such a transition could move forward. While that does not eliminate the possibility, it remains one of the factors people naturally consider when evaluating potential ownership scenarios. At this stage, much of the conversation remains centered on possibilities rather than confirmed outcomes. No final buyer has been announced. No ownership agreement has been officially completed. Instead, several important developments are beginning to line up at the same time. Initial bids have already been submitted. Allen & Company continues managing the sale. Influential business leaders are gathering in Sun Valley. Major NFL figures are expected to attend the same conference, and reports now point toward two leading ownership groups emerging ahead of the rest of the field. Every one of those developments individually would deserve attention. Combined together, they create one of the most intriguing moments yet in the ongoing ownership process. The coming weeks could become increasingly important as additional information gradually becomes public, and the league continues working toward the next stage of the sale. With all of these pieces now falling into place, which ownership group do you believe gives the Seattle Seahawks the strongest future, based solely on everything that has emerged so far? What do you think about everything that's happening with the Seahawks ownership situation? Which group would you trust to lead the franchise into its next chapter? Share your thoughts in the comments because I really want to hear your opinion. And if you enjoyed this update, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Seahawks news. Thanks for watching, and be sure to click the video that's on your screen right now, because that's where you'll find even more Seahawks updates. The latest breaking news always arrives here first.